On this episode, we uncover a JDM-style garage in Ireland, we fix things on our Chevy Caprice, and I forget everything I know about engines.
Dinner is served.
Let's do it!
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Drift Games YouTube channel. We're here in a small town in Ireland because we're meeting up with one of our friends who has a really interesting garage. So a lot of you guys are big into Japanese cars, and when I went to Tokyo years ago and you started going to those little small garages around the place, you realize that it's kind of like a lot of, you know, normal guys just working as a specialist on different Japanese cars. They're not like, you know, big main dealers or whatever. And in Ireland we've got a lot of those little garages as well. So on this channel we're going to try and explore a few, but today we have a reason to, because we're down here looking at one of my projects which we're going to start getting moving, which we really did nothing with last year, and that's my Chevy Caprice, which we're making into a very cool sort of street car, lowrider kind of style car. But it's been down here for a couple of months in Moorhead Motors, and here is the car itself outside here on the forecourt. So as you can see, we haven't really done a whole lot with it. Now, however, it was in pretty bad shape when we got the car. There was a lot of stuff that needs to be done, like the brakes and lots of other stuff. So it looks a bit rough, but this car is going to go under a big transformation in the next couple of months. So at the moment, it's kind of all over the place. We're going to talk about the car in a little bit, but before we get on to the Caprice, I want to show you through this crazy garage because it looks really unassuming from the outside. There's a lot of cool JDM stuff in here. So we're going to take a quick tour through. We're going to meet up with Dan Moorhead, one of the judges in Irish drifting, but also one of the drivers in Irish drifting, who has a really cool setup here with some very interesting cars. So let's check them out. Okay, so we're here in Moorhead Motors, and here's the man himself behind it, Dan Moorhead, good buddy of mine. Hello, Daniel.
How are we now?
Last time you will have seen Dan on the channel, he was trying to buy car parts in a scrapyard in Dubai, so I'm going to give you a quick reminder of that.
So you got shafted, but it's still cheaper than you thought it was?
It's still very, very cheap, like, but at the same time, I can't help but when he started laughing at me when I said yes to 600 dirham, that when he laughed in my face, that I may have gotten it a little, just a little bit cheaper.
So Dan, we're here where all the magic happens in Moorhead Motors. So this is a garage that's kind of been in your family for a long time, and it's now kind of somehow turned from a normal garage to sort of like kind of a JDM specialist. So let's start by just doing a little quick tour around, because one thing I love about this place is it's not just about what's obvious, it's all the stuff tucked away, because there's all little kind of, you break a lot of cars and sell parts and that kind of stuff. So there's always little bits left around, which I kind of find interesting. You're almost picking stuff up and seeing what it is, and it's almost like I don't know, it's like a treasure chest of like really cool JDM stuff that's come in over the years, right?
Yes, unfortunately the floor is my toolbox.
So first of all, let's talk about this car, which is a bit, I mean, I actually have to take a little double look at this because I'm not sure I've ever seen one of these in Ireland. But this is a Cresta, right?
Yes, this would be the same platform as the JZX81, but this is a GX81. So it has a 1G GTTE engine in it, which is a 2-litre twin turbo. So it's something along the same platform as the twin turbo 1JZ, only a 2-litre class for a cheaper tax.
Wow, so this one there's an own development turbo going in?
Yeah, we have a 6-boost manifold fitted, a brand new Turbo Smart wastegate, brand new Owens Developments turbo. This is the equivalent of a 3071, but it's Owens' own custom version. So it has all billet housings, has billet wheels, WRC bearings, everything else. So the turbo is the top of the line that Owens is currently doing for that size of a turbo. But
it looks quite standard on the outside. Like, I mean, it has some dished old school wheels, but everything else is just kind of stock on it. I like this thing. It's very, something like a rare car that you wouldn't normally see anywhere, actually. Probably once a year at a show or something like that.
She is as she rolled off the board from Japan.
This is more stuff being worked on right now, but we've got a lot of stuff in the back that's a little bit more, I suppose, long term.
Yes.
Probably the right word. So here we got this Skyline now. Doesn't look like it's in too good a shape, but it is an R32. Well, this one now, even though everything is quite dark, this one's going to brighten it up a little bit, because this is a car that you'll be competing in 2020, right?
Yes, this is my competition car for 2020. We're hopefully going to be competing in both the Irish Drift Series and in the BDC, primarily in the BDC this year with this car.
A very pretty car. So this one, let's start at the front, because everyone's going to want to know what the power plant is. So this was Joe Doyle, who was a Irish Drift Championship Pro, his ex-car, or not his ex's car, but his ex-car.
Yes, his ex-pro car.
Clarify that.
Yeah.
And there has been kind of no expense spared on the build on this one.
Absolutely not, no. Joe, in fairness to him, I think Joe's primarily known for the quality of work that he puts into cars. Exceptionally anal about everything.
Yeah, and actually, this would be a good chance to show, if you don't know the kind of cars that Joe Doyle puts together, here's a little montage of them. So as you can see, this is the same quality, Dan. 2JZ?
No.
Sorry, RB25. Why would I say 2JZ? I think it's automatic now I go with.
No idea why you went with that one.
Every car up in Quinn M Sport is always a 2JZ with an origin kit, and I just sometimes...
No, it's not.
Except for Dwayne McKeever's. That's it.
Jono's.
Oh, Jono's, yeah, you're right. You're probably right, yeah. It's quite a bit of a riot. Let's do that bit again, because I just look like an idiot. And you've driven the car, what do you think? It's pretty quick?
It's a monster.
It's a monster of a car. It has a very big air filter. Just an unusually big air filter.
Yes, in fairness there is quite a large turbo on it. It's basically one of the bigger 3582, so basically a GT35R. So she's a Cinco manifold on it, teal wastegate. The car is currently mapped by TDP, and when last on the dyno on a 50-50 mix of race fuel made 569 wheel horsepower.
Well, so that's way over 600 flywheel.
Yeah, so we fitted a brand new Link ECU into it as well while we were doing that, and there's a brand new engine harness and wiring loom gone into the car as well.
So she's ready to rock?
Yes.
Ready to rock. Well, let's take a little quick look around the rest of the car. This is the pretty part, but there actually isn't any part of this car that isn't pretty. And I really like the livery you've gone with. And even this kind of stuff that Joe would have done in his time is actually make custom parts of the aero.
Those are actually all handmade, and those are not fiberglass, those are made out of aluminium.
So you've got the normal arch sort of cut sort of here, then aluminium put in there, which basically
Even like gussets that are the bottom.
like it's very over the top for a bit of event, but it really does make the car look awesome. And even the stance and the whole look of the car. Like, I'm not a big 33 Skyline guy, but I always said this one, I love the look of it. And I think you've got to put a lot more time and effort into a 33 than you would into a normal 14 or 180, because they kind of have a kit that just makes them look nice as it is. But this one needed a lot of custom work, and I know when Joe did this, a lot of the arches and stuff were kind of from different kits and different stuff, so it looks really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing this thing shred this year. Now, to go from something absolutely bananas to something that I don't even know what it is, that looks like something my grandmother drove, but I'm sure it's got a story.
This is a 1983 Toyota Corona.
Extra.
Extra.
It's an extra.
And the
extra on it. What's the extra?
The extra means that the wing mirrors are electric. It has air conditioning.
Even though they're up here.
Yes. They are literally wing mirrors.
That's the thing, it's actually a wing mirror, not a door mirror, which we really should be calling everything else.
Yes, I imported it from Japan a couple of years ago now through JDM Auction Watch, but the car was a one owner car from brand new in Japan.
Wow.
And we brought it in here then. Since then the car actually gets quite a bit of work. It is currently being used in an Irish-German television series as one of their hero cars.
Wow. I didn't expect that as a statement. That's impressive. I have to see what the mega power plant. I'm sure it's going to look exactly like the 33. Maybe not.
This is a 1.5 litre engine mated to a 4-speed gearbox. It's the same engine that's ran in the Toyota Light Ace van. I've actually never washed this down. This is exactly as it came from Japan.
So this bird is Japanese birds.
This is pretty much as it came.
That's more scene points, right?
Yeah, it's more seam. It's cool if you've got Japanese bird. You're obviously proper JDM. Never wash that off. That gives it value. And this is the one that I personally think is a really good story, because this is actually your wife's car.
Yes.
And this condition of a Skyline is not something you see all the time. So this is the pretty one. It's a very, very nice Skyline.
This is a 2-litre GTSD, but it has all of the GTR trimmings. So we've an original GTR front bumper, original GTR grille, original GTR alloy bonnet, original GTR N1 headlights.
I was just about to say, because the normal headlights on the R32 don't look that nice.
Projector headlights. Yeah. These are the actual N1 headlights, so they're pretty sought after item, as they say.
So this is a road car, obviously, and not supposed to be too mental, but
this is not heavily chinked. No.
So it's just kind of the bolt-ons, basically. Filters, intercooler, just the kind of stuff to make it feel a bit more responsive.
The car is probably about 280 horsepower, but drives exceptionally well and has good power.
And the thing about it, well, a lot of people don't realise now, is because nowadays car figures are quite high in terms of horsepower grows, like an ST Focus has XYZ, but the weight that's in those cars sort of balances them out. So if you have 280 horsepower, this is still a very light car. It doesn't have all the big electrics and airbags and all that normal cars have, so it's quick quick car with 280, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have a sort of like a bare bones car, like a 90s car, it's actually a lot of power.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool. This one I really, really like, especially when, and am I right in saying that, I'm right in saying because I was there, but your wife drove herself to your wedding in this car.
Yes, this was my wife's wedding present. I bought this car for myself probably only about 5 weeks before the wedding with a blown engine, and Sinead came with me at the time and asked me would I have it ready for her to drive herself to the chapel inn on the morning of the wedding. So she actually received this as her wedding present on the morning of the wedding.
And it was a very cool sight to see a bride, and usually the only bride you get is the seats. We actually got a bride to drive herself to the church in a North 32 Skyline. That's pretty cool. That's hardcore JDM there. So I really, really like this one. So we're going to take a spin outside, and we've got some more cars that we want to check out.
We have indeed, yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt this video. We'll be back checking out more cool cars in Dan's garage very soon. I want to give a big shout out to our partners here at Drift Games, Link ECU, who've been supporting us for many years and also supporting the best drifters and racers in the world with their amazing range of products. If you want to find out the entire range of products they have and how they can improve the performance of your car, check out linkecu.com. So we're outside now in Dan's and More. This is kind of the most eclectic collection, I think, in the whole place. This, which looks like, I thought when you look at it first, like something you put on a tractor as a piece of machinery, but this is actually the rear roll cage or outside cage.
Yes, the rear outer frame off of the Fast and the Furious Dodge Charger.
Yeah, which is over there.
Yes.
So this is what essentially would be the bit they towed the safe with. This is a Toyota Altezza.
Yes.
And this one is not a very stock Altezza.
Not at all, no. A friend of mine owns this. This is a car that we originally built that was going to be a road car. But we put a 1JZ VVTi engine into this.
Wow.
So she has full 1JZ running gear R154.
This is the thing I was noticing. Is that
intercooler for us.
I've never seen this before, but the intercooler is welded onto the actual front
core support for the car. Yeah, the idea of this is that basically you've made the front mount intercooler is actually part of the front end structure in the car now as well, so it makes the front of it quite rigid. An awful lot of guys take off those front bumper bars and throw them away, not realising that they add quite a lot of structure to the front of the car.
And then we have like a sort of a drift spec 180SX.
Yeah.
Old school, I can imagine, by the banner on the roof.
Yeah, she is very, very old school. I've only bought the car a couple of weeks ago. I haven't done much with it apart from getting it running right and getting it going properly. So it's 1JZ, W58 gearbox, but she has the usual stuff. It's all coilovers, full custom motorsport wiring loom in it. Very, very nice car.
So if you were starting off in drifting, this would be kind of the perfect car.
Well, this is pretty much your ideal base because it has a JZ, which is pretty much the engine that everybody seems to be chasing at the moment.
Yeah, pretty cool. And then this one doesn't have the engine that everyone's chasing at the moment because it's a pretty iconic car. And you know what? It's not the first time we've met the car on the channel. So if you guys want to see me shredding this car around Mondello, one of the Fast and Furious stunt cars, check this out. Now, I will say that it is the most difficult car I've ever tried to drift because it's absolutely huge.
Yes.
First of all, very heavy.
Yes.
And not a lot of lock.
No, and the car as it sits there at the moment, if you want to have a look at the front wheels, is actually sitting on full lock.
That's full lock.
That is the full lock.
And you took some pasture rides at some tracks this year, and I was going, how is he even like this?
Yeah, it's. I will have to say,
what, 20s?
Yeah.
20s and this much lock, and that's what you're trying to drift with. Now, to be fair, it has the power from the Hemi, right? Oh, this was a Hemi originally, but now it's an LS.
Currently is 6.2 LS3 sitting in it, and there's a Quaife 69G sequential gearbox in it as well.
It's got the potential, which is a good thing. Well, that's really cool. It's nice to see the stuff that you're working on at the moment, but we are here to work on my Chevy Caprice, which everyone doesn't want to work on because it's pretty, it needs a little bit of work, but we've been putting in some work and some parts over the last couple of months, so it's time to catch you guys up on what we've been doing with it and what the plans for it is, and maybe get some servicing parts done here today. So this is my 1986 Chevrolet Caprice.
It's actually an 84.
Actually an 84 Chevrolet Caprice, which I did not know. This is why I bring it to Dan. He tells me all the things. I buy it with no information whatsoever. So this car was originally or at least I thought it was, or I hope it is. It was originally a wedding car that I bought in Dublin. There's not very many of them, there's maybe 2 or 3 in the country. I'm sure if you're an American viewer, they're everywhere. But here, they're very rare. So I was like, this is something different. I'm going to try and transform the car. But firstly, I had to bring it down to Dan to make sure the car actually ran, which, as we will show from a previous episode of us driving around Mondello Park, it wasn't the safest thing to drive. Does this sound good now?
Oh, there's smoke coming from something.
Let it ride! So we couldn't exactly just keep modifying the car or even get to the modifications without getting the car up to speed in terms of servicing parts. So at Christmas, Dan and myself and our 2 better halves went to Florida on a holiday. And little beknownst, when they were off shopping in the malls, me and Dan were looking for parts for a Caprice, and Dan managed to bring an entire suitcase worth of parts and service parts back to save me the shipping, which has helped me out massively on this, to bring it back here so that we could actually get the car running okay.
I've also left you one job, Dave.
No, I don't know if I trust myself to do any jobs on it now. This wasn't agreed.
All you have to do, Dave, is you just have to open up this wing nut right here, Dave, and lift off that cover, and you'll be able to fit your very own brand new air filter into your Chevy Caprice.
Let's see how it goes. I will be under supervision, I presume.
Oh, you will be under supervision, absolutely.
So I've realised that this car that I thought was an 86 is actually an 84, so it's the same age as me. So I'm not sure which has held up better over those years, whether it's me or the car. But this is the air filter. I don't even know what this is. I got handed this. I thought it was something for the wheels, but this is actually the air filter that goes in the car. So apparently this goes in there, and it's the only thing I'm allowed to actually fix on the car. So let's see how easy or hard it is. That's not too bad. Oh, look at that! Dinner is served. Oh yeah, it looks like the old. Oh, that one's in shit. That's what it used to look like. Definitely needed an air filter anyway. So I just. Is that all you do?
That's it, yep. There
And
you
even
go.
looks wary watching you do this.
You don't even need.
No.
Just put the microwave plate back on top of
Don't
it.
drop that now.
This is a great car. If anyone's looking for any work on a 1984 Caprice in Ireland to change the air filter, I am available. Done. In the bin. I don't know why you mechanics are always giving out about everything taking so long to get fixed on a car. It seems like we're getting charged a lot of money here for this.
I really should have left you the easy job there, alright.
I didn't do the brakes now, believe me. The bonnet isn't actually black on this car. We sort of half attempt to wrap it poorly before wrap the whole car, and we realised the bonnet was too big for a sheet of wrap, so we had to cut it up. Anyway, long story short, it was a bad idea. So we're gonna get the car running mechanically perfect, then we're gonna get the whole car basically prepped up for paint. The idea is to paint it black with a lot of glitter flake and sparkles in it and that kind of stuff. We're gonna put a full airbag suspension kit on the car, which we're gonna give to Dan, because he loves working on these terrible cars. We're modernise maybe the stereo system in it a little bit, and then it should be ready for road. Now there's a long way from now till then, but we hope you guys are kind of interested in the project, and because we're bringing around a couple of different places, like different painters, different stuff like that, we're going to kind of jump into the garages of all the people that we kind of meet along the way on this project, which is pretty cool. Like today, we get to come inside Dan's place and check out some really, really cool cars. So if you like this kind of content, let us know in the comments below. Do you think this is a worthy project? Should I just give up on it now, or should I just keep going with it? I need some motivation on this one, because it's been over a year since we've done anything with it, but I really want to get it finished. So join us next time when we do something completely different, but we will come back to this at some point again in the future. So if you like the episode, let us know, and we'll see you on the next one. So there you have it, guys. What an awesome gem of a garage in Ireland. It's like a little Tokyo garage tucked away in the hills of Carlow. Crazy, I know. If you guys want to see us check out some more garages, let us know in the comments below. And what was your favorite car that we saw today? We're back with more episodes very soon from the Drift Games vlog.